The mining industry is a great enabler for social and economic change in the countries where you operate. The multiplier of an investment into a mining project can be 1 to 20 trillion $20 of investment in non-mining activities. And of course, it's very important that when we go into host countries, we actually develop capacity. And what's a better way to develop capacity than education? So to give you one example, in the DRC, we run schools for roughly 12,000 children in the regions that we operate in. I think we're probably, after the government, one of the largest school operators and not just mining company. And we've also now introduced the first crash programs because we've identified that one of the reasons children end up being visible in the streets, young children, because their mothers have to work and there's no childcare for young children until they can go to school. So we've actually started first programs there as well. And we've just this year kicked off a big program on higher education. We believe that African countries have to have their own technical expertise, meaning a geologist from Mali should be the one discovering the next big gold prospect in Mali. A geologist from the DRC should be the one discovering the next big copper project in the Congo. So we've invested in with the Localizing University. We've sponsored 200 students to take higher education in geology, mine planning, mine execution, hydrology, and we plan to expand that program. So this is something I'm personally very passionate about, and I think this is very important. As the mines over time deplete, the people stay. And it's education that really makes a difference for communities. So ESG for me is something that is most effective when it's done locally. There's no one in London or in Manhattan that would know better than the people on the ground what's actually better for them. So I'm a believer of ESG has to be local because the impact of the mines are local. Interestingly, the closer a person lives to a mine, the more positive that person will be thinking about the mine. There's a statistic by the ICMM that shows exactly that. So it's actually the people who live closer to the mines, they understand how important it is for their own economic development. Now, so for me, ESG starts at the operation. It starts with the ecosystem around the education, the employment opportunities, alternative livelihoods, female employment. These are areas that you can, as a company, address very well and very nicely. Now, what I would like to see is there's a lot of funding available for ESG-compliant investments. There are large rating agencies that are tracking the funds that invest. There's companies that are being ranked according to their ESG performance. What I would like to see is actually investment going specifically into ESG-type investments. For example, into renewable energy around the mining industry. Why are not all the mines in Africa supplied with solar power and a battery system? There's many remote operations that they run on diesel generators. They shouldn't be, which I believe you could actually create an entire ESG compliant asset class of renewable energy for mining companies. It's the perfect fit, a mine which is a strong off-taker, which can give the guarantees for the project, and a green investment into green electricity. And of course there's a battery as well, which is great for the mining industry because batteries are full of minerals that we produce. The Global Battery Alliance Battery Passport is something I'm very passionate about. It's actually the world's first digital tool that traces the origin of a battery material from the source of the production, which is the mine, throughout the entire supply chain into the electric vehicle. And the Global Battery Alliance is the world's largest multi-stakeholder initiative in the energy storage space, originally founded 5 years ago, to the day, 5 years ago, in Davos, and has brought together 135 organizations from government, mining companies, trading companies, battery manufacturers, automotive companies, electronics companies, that all work together to create standards for building a sustainable supply chain of energy transition materials. Now, the battery passport actually allows you, as an end customer, there's a little sticker you have on the back of the car, you scan the sticker, and a page will open, which is publicly available, and it will tell you this cobalt unit was sourced from this country, this mine. This lithium unit came from this country, from that mine, and it was transferred to a refinery in country A, China, Korea. It was turned into a cathode active material. It was then transferred into battery cell manufacturing, and the battery ended up in this specific car that you see in front of you. I mean, this is quite revolutionary, and I think we're going to see similar passports across other industries where it's important to track CO2 emissions, it's important to track human rights records, you have to exclude child labor in the supply chain. So it triggers the right questions from the beginning of the supply chain to the end of the supply chain, and it gives consumers a choice whether they want to buy a product that has a high ESG score or not such a high ESG score. So customers, consumers' choice drives better behavior in the supply chain as we build out the supply chain. Well, this mining in Indaba, and this is probably my 15th mining in Indaba that I've attended, is this was not just a refreshing renaissance of a mining industry coming together as individuals in person, face to face, and this has been a big change. And of course, it was incredibly well attended. I think something like 10,000 people probably came to this conference, and you see there's more than just words. So when you have conversations with host governments, there's an expectation that the biggest purchase order in history is here. It's right there. The mining industry is going to have to produce so many minerals for the energy transition. So the demand is there. Where's the funding? Where are the projects? Why are you not coming to my country building and discovering and exploring and unlocking all this value that's currently in the ground that's not being developed to create economic benefit for the countries where those minerals are found? And of course, Africa has got an incredible geological endowment of all the important minerals you need. So these were the conversations. Is people focus now on the how, right? How are we going to do all this, and how are we going to do it in a sustainable way?